Good morning, dear children. I welcome you all for today's video class. In previous session, we have already started the fifth unit, a question of space. Let's summarize what we have studied in previous session. So there was a boy whose name was Vikrant, and he was not at all happy with his studies, and his interests were different. And what was happening, children? His parents were forcing him to get admissions in the coaching classes. So, whenever his parents were insisting him or forcing him, then he used to get the admissions. He was not doing by his own will, he was not having his own interests, isn't it? Actually, here Vikrant's parents were doctors by profession, and they too wanted to give a bright future to their child. So their intention is good. Actually, when we see the parents' intention is to give a good future to their children. So here, same way, Vikrant's parents are trying their level best to give the best time, the best future to their child, isn't it? But Vikrant is unable to understand it. Vikrant is feeling like it is a pressure put on him, it is a kind of burden. But in this competitive world, children, he should understand that it is needed. He should work hard, he should put his efforts. So, what happens when he starts to ignore the coaching classes? Then he skips the classes. He makes friendship with a boy whose name was Anuj, and he meets him in a park where he used to go for jogging. So, Anuj was a kind of person where he never takes the things very seriously. So, this behavior was liked by Vikrant. So, Vikrant too started to behave like Anuj. He too started to take the things very lightly, and he started to skip the tuition classes. He started to skip the classes, the regular classes. This made Vikrant's parents to get worried. Later, what happens? Let's continue. Panting, Vikrant flopped onto a concrete bench just beyond which Anuj was exercising on the metal swing bars grouted into the earth. So, as usual, according to the daily routine of Vikrant, when Vikrant went to jog in the park, he saw Anuj was swinging on the metal bars. There were metal bars at two sides, children, and he was swinging on them, and he was busy in his exercise. So here Vikrant came breathing very badly. He was breathing, so it is called as panting. So he just sat on the concrete bench watching Anuj. Anuj was busy in exercising. Nothing like a good workout under the blue sky, much better than an air conditioned gym, said Anuj with satisfaction. Leaping off the bars to drop onto the bald grass. Hey, what's up? You look grim. So, what is going on here? Vikrant sat on the bench. He just went on watching Anuj's exercise. Anuj was busy in exercising. Later, Anuj said that it was a good exercise for him, and he prefer this exercise as the best exercise compared to the air conditioner gym. It is the opinion given by Anuj's children. He is very much happy to exercise in the park on those swing bars in the open area, whereas he just neglects the equipments and the all the facilities given in the gym. So later he jumps on the bald grass and he looks carefully at Vikrant's face. Vikrant was looking upset. So Anuj asks him, what is the reason why you look grim? Grim means looking disappointed. Vikrant shrugged and there was silence. Then he asked, did your parents put pressure on you to become a photojournalist? So, what was the profession followed by Anuj children? Anuj was a photojournalist. So, Vikrant, he was upset really. So, when Anuj asked him why he was upset, why he was disappointed, there was silence. And little he moved his body, like little here and there, he moved his body and he nodded his head and he asked a question to Anuj. What did he ask? He asked that whether Anuj's parents put pressure him to become a photojournalist. Oh no, laughed Anuj. I started on my own with journalism and then took up photography much later to make the stories alive visually. Then, after a pause, he said, is the pressure at home bad? See, the profession which was followed by Anuj was chosen by him only. There was no pressure put by his parents on him. It was his own will, by his own uh, intention. He took it himself, and it was his. He was getting happiness in that journalism. So he said here, no. He laughed. By laughing, he answered to Vikrant that there was no pressure put by his parents on him to become journalist. It was his own will, it was his own wish that he became journalist. And he wanted to bring the photographs of the stories into alive visually. So this was his interest. So his interest made him to get into that profession. Then later, Anuj got worried and he started to think why this question was asked by Vikrant. So he asked again to Vikrant, is the pressure at home bad? Because he wanted to know why Vikrant is asking such kind of questions. Maybe there is a pressure in his home. He guessed here. Anuj guessed. And he wanted to get an answer for that guessing. So he asked to Vikrant, is the pressure at home bad? Vikrant tried to shrug but nodded instead. It seems to me that the pressure is worse for children of doctors, perhaps, because medicine is considered the noblest of professions and gives prestige. But tell me, how do you react to pressure? For this question, again Vikrant answered in a cold way, in a cold manner. He nodded his head and he just went on talking, he went on giving his opinion. He feels like it gives a pressure, means it is a kind of pressure to be a child of doctors. Why? Because he considers the profession as the noblest profession, which gives prestige also. But still, to follow that profession, he feels like it is a kind of pressure put on him by his parents. As I told you before, children, parents are right in their own way, because the experienced mind, they will be knowing what kind of atmosphere is present outside the competitive world, what the society demands, what the world demands. So, according to those demands, the parents will be preparing their child. But what happens? The understanding level of the child will not match with the understanding level of parents. So, for this reason, the child thinks like it is a kind of pressure put by parents on him. So, same way it is happening here. Vikrant is not able to understand what is the expectation of his parents. Oh, I explain, I argue, I snap, sometimes I even walk out. It is worse when I lose control. So, here Vikrant wanted to know how Anuj reacted when the pressure was put on him by his parents. So, for this, Anuj answered that he argued, he snapped, he explained, sometimes he even walked out of his house. He used to lose his control. He was becoming out of control. Yeah, but have you noticed how your body reacts? My body? It no, not really. See, Anush says, now whenever you are getting out of control, have you just focused on the reaction of your body. See, children, just I want to grab your attention towards this lesson. Why? Because this lesson is based on psychology, and it teaches us how to control our emotions. That's what the next part it explains here. Anuj, he just asks Vikrant, how you notice the reactions of your body when you become out of control. My body, it no, not really. Here Vikrant answers that he not at all gives attention, he not at all focuses on the reactions of his body. If you want to get control over the situation, you could start by first observing your body's reaction, your posture, body temperature, muscle contractions, breathing, the taste in your mouth. So, for this, Anush says, so whenever you are getting out of control, you should start observing the body's reaction. To whom he is advising here? He is advising to Vikrant. And Vikrant is listening carefully to Anush's advice. And what he says here, Anuj says, he says that he should, Vikrant should give attention on his body posture, body temperature, the muscle contractions, even the breathing and the taste in his mouth. Whenever he was getting angry, whenever he was reacting out of his control. How will that help? Asked Vikrant doubtfully. Yes. How is it possible, children, whenever a person gets angry, how is it possible to give attention on the body reaction? Is it possible? That needs practice, it seems. It will help you witness your reactions if they were happening to someone else. By observing your body and its reactions, you also distance yourself from them. This distance will help you first see, then control your reactions, said Anuj. This is the very best advice what Anuj gives here to Vikrant children. I feel so. Why? Because here Vikrant is so doubtful and even he want to know how it helps him. See, whenever he was Vikrant used to get angry, he should control his body reactions. He should not express it suddenly. That's what Anush says here. He should distance from those reactions. He should distance himself from those reactions. Means if he is getting angry, he should have control on his angriness and it should not express through his expressions and body reactions. Sometimes it happens, children, whenever a person gets angry, behaves aggressively, he shows body by his reactions, by his body movements, by his face expressions. That by that only we will come to know that this person is very angry today, out of becoming out of control. That's what here Anush says to Vikrant, not to react, not to show through those body reactions that he is angry. Then why not observe your body when you are feeling happy or excited or adventurous? Why only when you are under pressure? Quizzed Vikrant. Yes. This is very important question asked by Vikrant here. Why only when we get angry, when we are under pressure, we should not show the reactions? It may happen that when we are excited, adventurous, even that time also we will react suddenly, isn't it? The sudden feelings come out, the happiness, the excitement. Then how we should control it? We should have observation on such kind of feelings. Sure, why not? Actually, our range of expression is quite limited. For this, Anuj answered calmly that yes, our range of expression is quite limited. Means we not come to know how we react when we are happy and how we react when we are angry. Only needs practice, children. That what I feel. If we get familiar with our full range, we will become aware of our habitual expressions. So, according to Anuj, he says that if we become familiar with our expressions, with our habitual expressions, then we will be able to control our reactions. It depends on us, children, how we are controlling our reactions. But the next step is to practice expressions when there are no feelings to be expressed. Now, see, this is another kind of advice, very important advice he is giving here. What practice we should do? When there are no feelings at all, we should not express it. Sometimes we'll be sad, sometimes we'll be very quiet. Only thing is, we should not show by our body posture, body reactions. I know this sounds daft, but think, if you can express emotions without expressing them, said Anuj. Now, what according to Anuj is, he says, whatever emotions you are having inside yourself, don't try to show it outside. That's it, children. Have you understood? This sounds very difficult. See, if you are excited, if you are happy, if you are sad, angry, whatever, just the human nature is that suddenly we react. The best thing of the human nature is to control it, have control over the emotions. Then you will not have any kind of difficulty. You can handle any kind of task. You will become so tough that nobody can break you, children. That's what here Anush says. So what is happening with Vikrant? Vikrant is just little confused. He was not able to cope up with the expectation of his parents and not able to cope up with his daily routine. So here Anush says that you have to control the emotions, have control on the emotions so that nobody can break you, nobody can disturb you. Like how asked Vikrant. Yes, Vikrant want to know. He was very excited. Okay. Suppose you get news that you have won a free trip to US, then how would you react? Urged Anuj. Now for this Anuj gives an example how to control the emotions. He gives an example that if suppose Vikrant gets a chance and he wins a free trip to US, how would he react? The US, wow, exclaimed Vikrant, giving to his hands, body, and face such an exaggerated expression of glee that both collapsed laughing. So, as soon as Vikrant heard a free trip to US, his excitement was so much that he just jumped out of the bench, and that made Anush to laugh. So, what happened here? When Vikrant jumped out of the bench with a sudden expression, by holding his hands high up, this made Vikrant and Anuj laugh together. So though they both started to laugh together. This is what Anuj says here, children. This he doesn't want. Sudden reaction. Here Vikrant was not able to control his reaction. So suddenly he reacted. He jumped. He showed by his hands and by his voice and his expressions that he is very happy. This he should control. He should react coldly. He should react very calmly. Instead of that, he reacted so uh, happily that this made Anush to laugh, children. So though they both started to laugh. What happens next? What other kinds of advice Anuj gives to Vikrant? There are many more things to study in this lesson, children, and this lesson is very important. We will continue in the next session. Read the lesson, and if you get any difficulty, ask me. Thank you.